Okay, so we'll start in a comfortable seated position. Typically a pillow or blanket underneath you feels a little better. Maybe even getting the skin out from underneath you and just starting to settle in. It's kind of hard to switch from, one activity to the next with a snap of the fingers. So we're just going to take our time here, no rush, and all time to get there. Sometimes it helps to close your eyes if you feel more comfortable, or kind of get rid of distractions while we start to settle in. And I would just take my neck and maybe roll it around, start to feel where me and my body and baby are at tonight. Every night is different. Every moment is different. So just kind of checking in. And then when I've done that, maybe a couple rolls, I might settle down and then take my ears up to my shoulder and roll them back. And anything I say to do is you even take a couple shoulder shrugs. If it doesn't feel right to you, if it doesn't feel like something that is good for you, then don't do it. This is your time to kind of exercise that motherly instinct that's so important. You can start to gently open your eyes and just roll those hips around. You can decide how big or small. And as we start to move the body more, we're going to start to connect with our breath. So we might take a big inhale as we come forward and exhale as we come back. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. And then let's reverse that. Just give the other side a chance to unwind. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll return to center. And we'll just gently take one hand out as we reach the opposite towards the sky. We're going to give baby a little more room, maybe ourselves. And instead of trying to reach down, we want to reach up just as much. So we want to almost become light on the fingertips. And breathe. Big inhale. Big exhale. Big inhale. And then return to center. One full breath here. And then extend out to the opposite side. And get light on those fingertips as you breathe deeply and fully. Inhale to reach. Exhale, bringing it back down. And maybe taking hands to baby. Maybe even one hand to your heart. Closing those eyes just one more time. We are all in different stages and different places, but we're here together. So acknowledge that you made time to show up and why you came here. And that becomes your intention. That becomes your reason. And that's exactly what happens when you leave here. So as much good thoughts that you can think of towards yourself and what you're creating inside you. Take a couple deep breaths all the way down to baby. Ideally through the nose. And we'll just start to tap into that breath, the powerful. All right, let's move. Releasing the arms. Let's come to hands and knees. So we're on all fours. This is a tabletop position. And we'll start to make circles here. So we're going to take a similar series that we did while seated, but this time on all fours. And I find that just by moving the body in different directions. Go ahead and reverse those circles. I can start to release certain areas that need releasing. Slowing it down, coming back to all fours. If you have any wrist pain, you can come up on those fists or even just push away all 10 fingers. But wherever you're at, start to gently look up. You know, as belly gets bigger, we tend to let our belly sag, which may impact our lower back. So hug baby in slightly if you have any lower back pain while you look up. Inhale. Exhale, push away and look down towards baby. So let's make that a flow. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, look up. Exhale and around. And one more time. Inhale, look up. And exhale, around. All right, go ahead and gaze towards your left hip, stretching that right side body. Inhale, return. And exhale, gaze towards your right hip. Inhale, return. Come down on those forearms. We've been on the wrists a while. And just sway your hips side to side. Now you see what I'm doing, so you know how to do it. Let that head and neck release. No need to hold any tension. Let it go. Anytime we can get our heart a little bit lower, or our head lower than our heart, we can then start to slow down and prepare for sleep. Well, we're not quite there yet, so let's go ahead and use the strength of our arms to come back up. But this time, pick up your right foot, maybe extend it behind you, get a nice stretch, and then bend that knee, and it might take you 1 or 2, maybe 3 times to get it in front where your hands are. But from there, go ahead and lift the whole body up. So this is just a nice lunge on our knee. We're bending the knee, straightening it, and continuing to breathe those deep, long breaths. And then we'll go ahead and lean the body forward on the inside of that knee. And we'll start to make little circles with that front knee, opening up the hip. And then little circles the other way. Walk the hands back, start to lengthen the leg, keeping the whole foot on the floor. So you get a really nice stretch from your heel all the way up to your hip. You can come up on the fingertips if it feels better. You can even lift the whole body if you're feeling a little too crowded. But wherever you're at, breathe, right? Deep, slow, and with intention. Move the hands back, take the foot back, and sit back on those heels for just one moment as you roll out the wrists. Just take a moment before switching to the other side. So we'll go ahead. If your knees start to bother you, use one of your pillows or blankets. Just place it under your knee. I'm on tile here, so it definitely feels better for me. But we'll return to all fours. We'll give ourselves one more cat-cow where we inhale to look up, maybe hug baby and protect the lower back. Exhale, look down towards baby. And then inhale, return to neutral. Exhale, gaze towards your left hip. Inhale to center. And exhale, gaze towards your right hip. Inhale to center. Extend the left leg back this time. You can stay on the floor, be lifted up. But when you're ready, bend that knee. Maybe one, maybe two. Just bring it up to meet your hands and walk your hands up for a nice solid lunge. Bend on that knee and lengthen. And enjoy a nice opening on the front of your quadricep. And when you're ready, bring those hands back down towards the ground and make little circles with that front knee in both directions. Nice. And then walk the hands back as you lengthen the leg, coming up on the fingertips, and just enjoying a whole leg stretch by keeping the whole foot flat on the ground or approaching it. We stretch all the right places during pregnancy, all the way up to our hip. Maybe even get into some sciatica here. And breathe. And again, if you need a little more space, just come up on those hands. And if it feels better to be forward, be forward. This is your time. Make it your own. And one more deep breath here. And then exhale, walk the hands back out and come back to all fours. One more time, sitting back on those heels, rolling the wrists out. And let's go ahead and stand up. So this is if you have a wall or a chair handy. It's a nice prop to have. So what we're going to do is similar to what we did seated and on all fours. We're going to just roll those hips, okay? All the way around. Not a big deal. And the beauty about doing yoga or any type of fitness or mindfulness at your house is that you probably have a wall or a chair around. So find it, and when you do, meet us in these hip circles, which of course you can make your own. You can make wider or narrow. If you find a tight spot, stay there for a moment and then continue. And when you've had enough on one side, reverse. Exactly. Oh. And what I look like is going to be different than what you look like. And that's the beautiful thing. We don't want to lose our breath, even though you're going to keep breathing no matter what. But that deep breath, that conscious breath, the breath that feels all the way down to your soles of your feet, that's the breath I'm talking about. All right, let's go ahead and stop with the hip circles one moment. And let's just drag one arm up the side of our body as one drops below. And roll the shoulder back, maybe even look up a little bit. Exhale, return, and just slide that hand up. Exhale, return. Let's try one more time, each side. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. All right. We'll face our chair or our wall. You can use either. And what we're going to do is we're going to first reach up to the sky. And then we're going to exhale, bend our knees, and find the wall or the chair. If you have the wall, you can go, hands are splayed out. It gives you a little more anchor, but a chair works just as well. As you walk your hips back and try to make your back, as straight or as elongated as possible. You can keep it fluid by bending one knee and then the other. And if you're looking up at me, now would be a great time to let that head and neck release. And you can bend both knees, bend one, bend none. The whole idea is that you're releasing the whole back side of your body. And you might find when you bend one knee, you just need to hold that there for a moment and then switch to the other side. But you make it your own. And when you're ready, look up with those highs as your hips extend up as well. And then exhale, walk the feet in. I want to try that whole routine one more time. So hands on our hips, we'll circle twice one way. We'll circle twice the other way. And then we'll inhale, slide our hand up our side. Exhale, back down. Inhale, sliding it up. Exhale, back down. And now let's reach to the sky, facing our wall or chair. And then exhale, find that wall, find that chair, and walk the legs back so you're in an L shape. Keep bending those knees, or not, but really get that whole, shoulders, back, hips, just to feel amazing by getting into just the right spots. This is kind of a version of downward dog for those of you who do yoga regularly, but it's really more gentle on the wrists, so you're not putting as much weight on them. And it also allows you to get into those hips and back a little deeper. So wherever you're at, head and neck released, bend both knees so you can get a little more into those hips. Maybe extend them to the sky. And then on your exhale, just release everything. Inhale, look up. And then walk those feet up to the chair. All right, we're going to do it one last time, just making sure everything's good and loose. So hands to our hips. Let's circle it up twice. 1 and 2. Reverse. 1 and 2. Slide that hand up. Inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Inhale, extend to the sky as you face your chair or your wall. Really reach as tall as you can. And then exhale, find the chair, find the wall. Walk the feet back, and you make it your own. So bend your knees, alternate, lengthen the back, lengthen the legs. And let that neck and head release. Maybe shake it side to side. A lot of us on computers during the day or our phones, we need to release the head and neck. So we shake it yes and no. And then on your next inhale, gaze up with those eyes. And exhale, walk the feet in. Inhale, raise the arms up one more time. And this time, if you want to interlace your fingers, just take a nice side bend. Exhale. Inhale, extend back up. Exhale to the side. And inhale, back up. Exhale, open. Now, if you have a nice chair or something about the same height, we're going to do one little inversion here with our feet wide. So first, Let's go ahead and take our toes out, and I'll move the chair for a moment. We'll bend the knees. This is a nice goddess. We'll just kind of bring a little energy to the legs. Go side to side. And then go ahead and lengthen those legs. And if you have a chair or pillow, go ahead and take your feet, either point them straight ahead or slightly inward. Inhale, get a little taller with that body. And then exhale, find your chair. You could find a pillow. You could find the floor if you want. You could come to your forearms. But the whole idea here is we're softening. And we're not necessarily rounding our spine. We're still keeping it slightly elongating. But we're definitely relaxing into our body. And this is such a gentle way to get the head slightly below the heart while still keeping room for baby. And breathing deeply and surely. We'll go ahead and lengthen the arms back on our chair and take one hand into the center of the chair so we can grow the other arm like a nice twist here. Big inhale. Exhale back to center. Go ahead and switch the hands out. Inhale, raise the opposite arm towards the sky. And then exhale, bring it down. And this is kind of fun. We're going to take our heels in, toes out, maybe our feet a little closer. And we're just going to sit back into a nice squat until we sit all the way on the floor. Oh, nice and gentle. All right. We'll bring the soles of our feet together. We'll sit up tall. Again, if you like to sit on a little cushion, go for it. If you have a wall, sometimes it's really nice just to lean back on it. A lot of times we think we're sitting up straight, and then we get a wall behind us and we feel like we're falling backwards. But wherever you're at, come back to your breath and maybe gently close those eyes for just a few deep breaths as we start to slow this class down. And turn the corner. Now this is a super nice pose to open your pelvis, which is, as you can imagine, it's important for what's to come. If it feels more comfortable with your legs farther from your body, I encourage that. And because we're in a more relaxing pose, if you want to take your pillows and blankets and kind of stack them underneath your knees, we're just going to be here for maybe a minute or two. But it makes all the difference if you're supported to be able to more relax fully. So lots of options. There's no wrong answer. Just choose where you want to be and be there for the next minute or so. And when we start to slow down our breath, take longer inhales, longer exhales, we realize that a minute really doesn't take much. So through your nose, big inhale, big exhale. One more big inhale and big exhale. All right. So from here, we're going to make our way to the ground. So if you want to make your way to bed, that's totally an option. We'll be doing things you can do in bed or on the floor. But I'd like you to come down to your side, wherever you're at. And then just lay on your side for a moment using your hand as a pillow. And maybe even sometimes this hip, this leg, it just doesn't feel that good. So get a pillow. You probably sleep like this if you're used to it. And place it between your legs. And just take a moment to settle in, to remember why you chose to show up. We're not completely done here. We still have some good time left to really open the body. But we want to start unwinding and slowing down and kind of letting all the movement we just did kind of settle into the body. And sometimes when we slow down and stop moving, the mind, it starts to pick up. So this is where we get to practice bringing ourselves back to the present. And we do that through our breath. Because when you focus on your breath, it's really hard to focus on anything else. And take that with you to labor, to motherhood, or to just any day that's giving you a little trouble. Watch the breath come in your nose, go past those nose hairs. Fill your lungs up. Maybe down to baby. Gosh, you're giving oxygen for 2 right now. And then exhale, let it kind of sigh out as you watch that same air come all the way back up and out through the nose or the mouth, your choice. All right, so if you have a pillow between your legs, go ahead and move it out of the way, and we'll slowly just kind of roll on to our backs, but we'll try to keep those 2 knees to the side. So we're just getting a nice side stretch. And if the pillow's handy, sometimes I like to just put the pillow underneath the legs. But I'm just trying to get a little comfortable here. I might put a pillow behind me on the other side. We don't do too many twists, just because they're more challenging when our bellies grow bigger. But this is a nice open twist, and it kind of unwinds us physically, of course, and then internally as well. So if you can get a little comfortable, and you're going to have to play with it, your hands maybe are above your head, maybe they're at your side. But you just want to keep kind of moving that body a little bit until you can find somewhere that you can take just maybe 3 really big, slow, deep breaths. Big inhale. Big exhale. And just by kind of gently moving the weight of your body one way, you're eliminating any risk of putting pressure on that big vein that runs along the right side of your body. So just use those pillows. Use your own intuition to settle in, to get comfortable. And if laying down is just not for you right now, you can do very similar in a chair or seated, just taking your knees to one side of your body. Now the fun part is we're going to transition. So we're going to walk our feet first, and now we're going to just shift the hips. So we'll put weight in the soles of our feet and lift the tailbone up. And this is a kind of a detour until we switch to the other side. We're just going to try to elongate the spine. And we're not really trying to go high. That'll kind of affect your breathing. Keep it pretty low, but try to take the knees away from your body to give yourself a little more space. And then when you're ready, roll the spine back down onto the floor. Ah. And then go ahead and adjust the hips so your knees can fall to the opposite side of the body. And then grab those pillows again, place them where you need them. I like to have one on one side of my body and the other supporting my knees as I just open up and breathe. And it's not uncommon for baby to start to wake up when we slow down. And that's actually a really good thing. And just as your breath affects your nervous system, so does it affect baby. So the slower and the deeper you can breathe, the better. We'll just take one more really big deep breath here. Big inhale. Big exhale. And then we'll bring those knees back up to the sky. Remove the pillows. Lift the hips just slightly up and kind of move them right to left to elongate it. Take the knees away from the body and then roll back down. Come to your side one more time and just take a moment here before lifting the body up. Now we're going to create a little kind of throne for us. So you're going to need maybe a couple pillows, a couple blankets, but you want to create a nice incline. So you can start with a big base for a pillow, and then I probably would want to just create a little bit of height near where my head is going to be. So I might take a pillow underneath just to get a little bit of an incline here. And then I'm going to stack one more pillow. So you're at home. I'm sure there's pillows and blankets around. You're basically just creating an incline all the way up. And if you like laying on the floor or laying on your bed flat, that's of course an option. Most pregnant women, this feels pretty amazing. So when you're ready, just like we did on the floor, we'll kind of slide into it and roll on our backs. And then sometimes I'll come back out real quick. It feels better to also sit on a pillow or blanket for our hips. So you kind of have to play with what works for you, but once you find it, you'll know. And I wish I was at your house and could set it up for you. That's kind of one of the only bummers about being remote here. But I think there's a definite beauty in being able to do this. And of course, if you want to spend the last little bit seated or on your side, those are both options. For a lot of us that tend to have a lot of shoulder tension, maybe taking something and making your neck a little bit higher, it can just be that extra oomph that it kind of allows you to be like, oh, and that's what I want you to feel. So feel free, take a minute, take 2 minutes, and build your throne up. And once you find it, you'll know. Your knees can be bent. You can bring the soles of your feet together and open them up. Or last but not least, you can extend the legs out. Usually if you have lower back pain, the best is when your knees are bent. Maybe your feet are as wide as your mat and your knees come together. But once you've arrived, we'll let that breath maybe not be as deep, but we're still aware of how it flows through our body. And if you ever have trouble sleeping, it's super common beginning, middle, and end of pregnancy. To go to the bathroom a lot, to just, move, baby's moving. So when that happens, rather than go right to your phone or your thoughts of what you have to do or what you haven't done, try what we're doing now, which is counting your breaths. And if you can try to make them as slow and as even as possible, maybe count as you inhale, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, 3. And anytime a thought kind of pops up, it's okay, you don't have to get upset, but just say, hello thought, and I'm back to my breath. And if you can count up to 100 of these, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 2, 3. More often than not, you'll be asleep before you get there. Thinking of only your breath, letting it move you, relax you, and carry you. Welcome to relaxation. We'll practice this breath for a few minutes. We'll practice coming back to it. We'll practice letting go. Practice our peace. Just like that, our time is ending. You're welcome to stay here as long as you want. As this is bedtime yoga, we're going to end things a little different. I'm going to teach, this class every Thursday for the next 7 weeks. So if you've enjoyed it and want to come back, I'd love to have you. But no matter what, I wish you the best sleep you've ever gotten and a healthy and happy pregnancy. Namaste and good night.